Alright, so in this lesson we're going to talk about multiplying whole numbers by whole numbers. But our focus here is doing this using something called standard algorithm. So there's many different ways to multiply numbers together. Some people use the lattice method, some people use the ladder method, but there's something called standard algorithm, which a lot of people know as old school math. And so that's what we're going to focus on today in this lesson. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, there's many different ways to multiply whole numbers, but it's important to know how to use standard algorithm. This is a picture of using standard algorithm, and I'm going to show you the steps in our next slide. So, step 1 in standard algorithm. Our problem here is 324 times 63. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the last digit of the bottom number with each digit of the top number. Now let me show you what that looks like here. So the 3 right here, and it's in red, is the last digit of the bottom number. And I'm going to simply multiply it times each one of these digits in the top number. And I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to go from right all the way to the left. Okay. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to carry the 1, put the 2 on the bottom. 3 times 2 is 6. But then I had carried this 1 up here. So I'm going to add the 1. So 6 plus 1 is 7. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Okay. Now, step 2. So step 2 says, since you have another digit to multiply, we're going to add a 0 as a placeholder under the 2. So all I did is I have my 972 from up here. It's just right here. Now it's in black, okay? And I'm going to add a 0 as a placeholder under that 2 because I now have this next digit, the 6, that we're going to get ready to multiply, okay? So let's go ahead and now move on to step 3. So step 3, multiply the next digit, which in this case is the 6, the same way that we multiplied the first digit, okay? So the first digit we had multiplied was the 3. Then we added the 0 as the placeholder. Now we're going to multiply the 6 the same way that we had multiplied the 3. And we're going to just continue the digits down here after the 0 placeholder. So 6 times 4 is 24. So I carry my 2 and I put my 4 down here. 6 times 2 is 12. But I have this 2 that I carried. So 12 plus 2 is 14. So I carry my 1, put my 4 down here. And then 6 times 3 is 18. But I have my 1 that I carried. So 18 plus 1 is 19. So I put my whole 19 here. Okay? Now, I don't have any more digits left to multiply, so I'm going to draw an equal sign right there. And I'm going to move on to my last step, which is step 4. So step 4 is going to tell me to add the numbers that you got from multiplying. So you're going to see right here I have an addition sign. So I'm going to take this 972 from multiplying the 3 and this 19,440 that I got from multiplying the 6, and I'm going to simply add them together. So 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 4 is 11. So I'm going to carry the 1 and put the 1 down here. 9 plus 4 is 13, but I had that 1 that I carried, so that's going to be 14. So I have 1 and 4, and then 9 plus 1 is 10, so I carry my 1 and I put my 0, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So my result is 20,412. Okay? So let's go ahead and put that to practice here. We're going to start off a little bit easier with some 2 by 1s. And what 2 by 1 means is just 2 numbers times 1 number. Okay? So 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to carry the 2. I like to circle it. And I'm going to put the 4 down here. 6 times 7 is 42. but I have this 2 that I carried, so I have to add that on. So 42 plus 2 is 44. And that's my final answer because I have nothing else down here with the 6 to multiply. So 444 is my final answer. Okay, now I'm going to move over here. 374 times 5. And this is called a 3 by 1 because it's a 3-digit number times a 1-digit number. So 5 times 4 is 20. So I carry the 2 and I put my 0 down here. 5 times 7 is 35, plus my 2 that I carried. So 35 plus 2 is 37. So I'm going to carry my 3 and put my 7 down here. 5 times 3 is 15, but I have my 3 that I carried. 15 plus 3 is 18. And that is my final answer because I have nothing left to multiply. All right, you try these 2 problems on your own and then we'll compare our answers. All right, if you're not done, go ahead and hit pause. So let's review. 12 times 4 is 48. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 218 times 3 should be 654 because 3 times 8 is 24. You carry the 2. You put the 4 down here. 3 times 1 is 3 plus the 2 that you carried. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And then 3 times 2 is 6. All right, now we have 3 by 2s, okay? So this is where we have to add our 0 placeholders when we get there. Now, we're going to start the exact same way. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. Oops, I forgot to circle my 1, okay? 2 times 5 is 10. But I have to add that 1 that I carried, so 10 plus 1 is 11. Now, I finished with the 2, so I kind of like to cross him out. You don't have to, though. But I still have this 1 that I need to multiply. So I'm going to add a 0 right here as a placeholder, because now I'm moving on to the next number. And I'm going to cross this guy out so I don't get confused. Okay? And I'm even going to change colors. Now, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 6 is 6. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now, I'm done with that one. I have no other numbers, so I'm going to put an equal sign and I'm going to add them together. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 6 plus 1 is 7, and 5 plus 1 is 6. So the final answer is 6,744. Okay, let's try this one over here. Again, it's another 3 by 2, which means a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm going to carry the 2, and I'm going to put the 0 right here. 4 times 9 is 36, but I have my 2 that I carried. So 36 plus 2 is 38. Now, I finished with the 4, and I'm also going to cross out my carrying one so I don't get confused. And I'm going to switch colors here. I have to add my 0 as a placeholder. Oh, let me do that in blue, because I'm now moving on to the next color. So now, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to carry the 1, and I'm going to put the 5 right here. 3 times 9 is 27. plus the one that I just carried. So 27 plus 1 is 28. Now, I finished with the 3. I have no other numbers here, and so I'm going to draw my equal sign, and I'm going to add them up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 3 is 3. 8 plus 5 is 13. So I put the 3 down here, and I carry the 1. 3 plus 8 is going to be 11, plus 1 is 12. So I'm going to carry the 1 again, and I'm going to put the 2 down here. What did I say? It's 12. Let me erase that, make it look like a better 12, or better 2. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So my final answer is going to be 32,334. All right, now I have 2 for you to try on your own. All right, if you're not finished, go ahead and hit pause so that you can keep working. So, for the first one, 284 times 52. For your first row, you should have gotten 5, 6, 8. Then, add your placeholder 0. For your second row, you should have gotten 1, 4, 2, 0, and then you have your placeholder. Then you add them up, and you should have gotten 14,768. If you did not get that, make sure that you added in the numbers that you carried appropriately and follow all my work very slowly that I did. For the second one, 847 times 41. For the first row, it should have been pretty simple. You're multiplying by 1, so it should have been 847. Then put your placeholder there. You move on to the 4 then. Then you should have had 3, 3, 8, 8, and again, your placeholder is there. When you add them all up, you should have gotten 34,727. Again, if you did not get the right answer, rewind the video and watch my work very slowly. All right, now we have a 3 by 3. So a 3 by 3 has another little twist to it that we haven't done just yet, but it's going to start out exactly the same, okay? So we're going to start out with our first digit over here all the way to the right. So 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to carry that 2, and I'm going to put the 8 right here. 7 times 9 is 63. But I have my 2 here, so I'm going to add that to it. So 63 plus 2 is 65. So I'm going to carry my 6 and put my 5 right there. 7 times 1 is 7. but now I have to add my 6. So 7 plus 6 is 13. Now, I'm done with my 7, and I'm going to add my 0 as a placeholder. And I'm going to switch colors. Oops, I'm also going to cross out my carries so I don't get confused. Okay, now I'm moving on to my 9. Okay, everything's still the same so far. 9 times 4 is 36. So I'm going to carry my 3, and I'm going to put my 6 down here. 9 times 9 is 81. So then I need to add my 3. So 81 plus 3 is 84. So carry my 8, and I'm going to put my 4. Now, 9 times 1 is 9, but I need to add my 8. So 9 plus 8 is 17. Oop, my mouse is going crazy. There we go. Now, I'm going to cross out my carries, and I'm going to cross out my 9. Now, here's where it gets different. So before, we put only one placeholder. Now, because I'm going to my next line, I'm going to put 2 placeholders because I'm going to the next number, okay? That's the only difference. So now I'm going to start with the 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm going to carry the 1, and I'm going to put my 6 right here. Now you notice my 2 placeholders are next to it. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 plus 1, though, is 37. So I'm going to carry the 3, and I'm going to put my 7 right here. 4 times 1 is 1, plus 3 is 7. Now I'm done with my 4. I don't have any other numbers, so I'm going to draw an equal sign, and I'm going to add them up like normal. 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 6 plus 0 is 11. So I'm going to carry the 1. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. Plus 1 is 14. So I'm going to carry another 1 and put my 4. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Plus my 1 is 16. So I'm going to carry another 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So my answer is 96,418. So let's do that again over here. We always start with the last digit of the bottom number. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Now, I'm done with the 2. I don't have any carries to cross out. And I'm going to add 1 0 as a placeholder. And I'm going to switch colors. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to carry the 2, and I'm going to put the 1 down here. 7 times 6 is 42. Plus 2 is 44. Now, I'm done with the 7. I'm going to cross out my carries, but this time I have 2 placeholders on the next line. And guess what? If I had another number after that, I'd have 3 placeholders. And another number after that, 4 placeholders, and so on and so forth. So now I'm going to switch colors. Now I have my next one, the 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2, put the 4. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 2 is 50. And we're going to add it all up because we're done. 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 0 is 13, so 3, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 1 is 12. So we have another 1 to carry. Put the 2 down here. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. So I have another 1 to carry. Put the 0 down here. Then we have 4 plus 0 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. And then I have another 5. And this number is even bigger. 550,232. That is big. All right, so you try these two on your own. All right, go ahead and pause the video if you're not done so that you can keep working, and if you are done, let's go ahead and go over it. So for the first one, 430 times 521. For the first row, you should have gotten 430, and that's when you multiplied the 1. Then you put your 0 as a placeholder, only one of them. When you multiplied the 2, you should have gotten 860, then again with that placeholder. For your last row, remember you have 2 placeholders at the end, 2 of them. And you should have gotten 2150, then with the 2 placeholders at the end. When you add those all up, you should have gotten 224,030. If any of that is incorrect, find where your number is wrong. If it's in the first row, then you multiplied the 1 wrong. If it's in the second row, you multiplied the 2 wrong. And if it's in the third row, you multiplied the 5 wrong. If all your numbers are right, but your answer is wrong, then you just added wrong. And so standard algorithm is really nice because when you're checking your work, it's really easy to see where you went wrong. For the next one, 839 times 553. For the first row, you should have gotten 2517. For the second row, you have a 0 at the end as a placeholder, and then you have 4195, and that's for multiplying that middle 5 there. For the last row, you have 2 placeholders, and then you should have 4195 in front of those 2 placeholders. When you add all those up, you should have 463,967. All right, so I'm going to end it with sort of a challenge problem here. I'm going to do one example and then one you try. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it, but it is important to try. This is a 4 by 4. So it's actually not much harder than a 3 by 3. The process is exactly the same. Remember, at first we multiply the first number, then we add 1 placeholder, then 2 placeholders. And then this time we're going to add 3 placeholders. So I'm going to do the first one with you, and then you'll go ahead and try that one. Okay? So 2 times 7 is 14. So we carry the 1, we put the 4. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm done with the 2, cross out my carries, add a 0 as a placeholder, okay? Now I'm going to move on to the 1. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm done with the 1, and I'm going to add 2 placeholders. Now I'm going to move on to the 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 1 is 1, plus 5 is going to be 13. 8 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. And then 8 times 3 is 24. Now, I'm done with the 8. I cross out my carries, and this time I already added 1 placeholder. Then I added 2. Now I'm going to add 3 placeholders. And I'm going to switch colors. And I'm going to work with my 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 1 is 1, plus 6 is 15. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And 9 times 3 is 27. So I have all my numbers, and I'm just going to add them up. See, not much different. You just have an extra row of numbers is all. So 4 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 7 plus 0 plus 0 is 10. So I'm going to carry the 1. 0 plus 1 plus 6 plus 0 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 6 plus 0 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So I'm going to carry a 1, and I'm going to put a 2. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I'm going to carry another 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. It's going to be a big number. 2 plus 7 is 9, and then I have a 2. So, let's see here. We always start at the end and count 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. So this is 29,602,804. All right, you try this one. right, go ahead and hit pause if you're not done so that you can finish, and if you are done, we can go ahead and go over it. So for our first row, when we multiplied our 2, we got 10838. For our second row, we have a placeholder at the end, and then we put 37933. That's for our 7 that we multiplied. Then for our next row, we had 2 placeholders, and then we had 21676, and that's from when we multiplied the 4. And then our last row was pretty easy actually, because we had 3 placeholders at the end, but we were multiplying by 1. So it was 5419. And when we added all of that up, we got 7,976,768. That was a challenge one. All right, that is the end of this lesson. We will do more practice in class, but for now, let me know if you have any questions.